This is the Focus Shift podcast, your best listening experience for creating your best online business. We'll focus on topics that help you get discovered. So sit back, listen, take notes if you like, and get excited about growing your business.
So, you know that feeling when you walk into like a really beautifully decorated, super high-end boutique?
Oh, yeah, where everything looks ridiculously expensive.
Exactly. The lighting is absolutely perfect. The items are gorgeous, but there are literally no price tags anywhere.
Yeah, that is the worst.
Right. There's no little placards explaining, what materials were used or even how to place a custom order. You're just kind of standing there.
Just looking around, trying not to touch anything.
Yeah, and trying to figure out if you can actually afford any of it or if it even fits what you need.
Right.
And the only way to find out is to go and, interrupt the very intimidating person standing silently behind the counter.
Which, let's be honest, most people just aren't going to do.
No, definitely not.
When faced with that scenario, they won't ask the question. They just turn around, walk right out the door, and, find a store that makes the whole buying process obvious.
Exactly. And yet, this is exactly what thousands of business owners do online every single day.
It's wild. It really is.
So today, we are pulling apart a really interesting article. It's from the PhotoBiz Growth Hub, published on July 7, 2026. And it's called The Value of Having FAQs on Your Website.
Yeah, it's a great piece.
It argues that your website's FAQ section isn't just like an afterthought. It's actually the primary way to stop people from walking out of your digital boutique.
Which is such a crucial shift in perspective.
Right. So if you are listening right now, whether you're, actively prepping to update your business website, or maybe you're looking to streamline your daily workflow, or you're just insanely curious about digital strategy, this deep dive is custom tailored for you.
We've got a lot of good stuff to cover.
We really do. Our mission today is to look way beyond that traditional kind of boring, frequently asked questions page.
Yeah, the one nobody actually reads.
Exactly. We're going to uncover how strategically placed answers can build immense client confidence, how they can reclaim just hours of lost time, and how to adapt to the latest massive shifts in search engine optimization.
Because SEO has changed a lot recently.
It really has. Okay, let's unpack this. Because we're starting right at the intersection of web design and, human psychology.
Right, because you really have to analyze the emotional state of a visitor at the exact moment they land on your website.
Which is usually a state of stress, right?
Pretty much, yeah. They arrive with a specific problem or like a whole set of rapid-fire questions already loaded up in their minds.
Right, things like, how much do you charge?
Exactly. Or what happens after I book? How long does the session take?
Do you offer payment plans? When will my gallery actually be ready?
Right, all of that. And if those questions aren't answered clearly and immediately, the visitor experiences this psychological friction.
Friction, yeah.
It's a subtle form of cognitive load. Basically, they have to decide if they care enough about your specific service to hunt around for the answers.
And usually they don't.
No, they don't. It is almost always easier to simply hit the back button and go find a competitor who just tells them what they want to know.
Right. And for creative businesses, things like weddings, portraits, newborn photography, or like major event branding, that friction is magnified tenfold.
Oh, absolutely, because these aren't small purchases.
Right. These are high stakes, highly emotionally charged investments.
Yeah, think about a family photographer. They aren't just selling some photos on a flash drive.
No, they're managing like a parent's intense anxiety.
Exactly. The parents are worrying about whether their toddler will throw a tantrum, what everyone is supposed to wear, if they can bring the family dog.
Right. All those tiny logistical nightmares.
And a wedding photographer is managing an entirely different set of anxieties.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah. A couple planning a wedding is stressed about travel fees, whether there will be a second shooter so they get all the angles and, complex payment schedules.
And strict booking timelines, right?
Exactly. So what's fascinating here is that addressing these specific details before the client even has to ask them, it fundamentally changes the power dynamic of the relationship.
How so? Like, in what way?
Well, you are shifting the client from a state of pure uncertainty to a state of preparedness.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, you're proving implicitly, without having to brag, that you have done this 100 times before. You already know exactly what they're worrying about.
I love that. That feeling of being anticipated is just incredibly powerful. It builds this profound trust right out of the gate.
It really does.
Like, if I go to a photographer's site and they already have a well-written section on how they handle rainy weather during an outdoor shoot.
Which is a huge stressor for outdoor events.
Massive. But if they have that, I instantly trust them more than the photographer who just has, like, a beautiful gallery and a basic contact form.
Right, because the beautiful gallery just shows me they can take a good picture on a good day.
Exactly. But the rainy weather policy, that shows me they can handle a crisis.
Yeah.
That they have a plan.
And that confidence is the actual catalyst that makes it easier for them to take the next step and reach out.
Right.
A truly effective website, it illustrates what it is actually like to work with the business. It sets boundaries, expectations, and, it preserves the client's ego.
Preserves their ego. What do you mean by that?
Well, people generally do not like feeling ignorant. Having to send an email to a professional to ask a super basic question makes a lot of consumers feel vulnerable or stupid.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I never thought about it like that. But you're right. Giving them the answers up front removes that vulnerability.
Exactly. And removing that client friction naturally leads to removing business friction.
Okay, yes, let's talk about the business side of this. Because if clients are constantly feeling uncertain and emailing those basic questions,
the business owner's just trapped, right?
yeah, trapped in an endless loop of typing out the exact same responses over and over. It's just administrative burnout waiting to happen.
It's exhausting.
The PhotoBiz article actually points out a harsh but honestly very necessary truth. Repetitive questions in your direct messages are a giant red flag.
A huge red flag.
Yeah, they are a glaring indicator that your website is actively failing to communicate.
It basically indicates a completely broken user journey. But, many business owners resist fixing this.
Why? Why wouldn't they want to fix it?
Because they misinterpret what those emails actually mean. They see a DM asking about their deposit policy and they think, oh, great, a lead.
Oh, right. When in reality,
It's just a plea for basic logistical information that should have been public in the first place.
Okay, let me push back on that slightly, though, just to play devil's advocate.
Sure, go ahead.
Because from a sales perspective, isn't answering emails personally like a great way to build rapport with a brand new client?
It can be, yeah.
Right, like you get in the inbox, you show some personality, you establish a real human connection. If you automate all those answers on the website, aren't you losing that human touch point?
Cool. There is a massive difference between building rapport and just performing redundant data entry.
Okay, fair point.
I mean, spending 20 minutes typing out a nuanced, personalized response about a client's specific vision for their branding session, that is building rapport.
Right. That's valuable time spent.
But typing out your standard cancellation policy for the 14th time this month, that is just administrative overhead.
Yeah, that's just busy work.
Exactly. Moving those repetitive, logistical answers directly to the website protects your energy. It saves you immense amounts of time.
Which frees you up to do what you actually do best.
Exactly. It allows you to focus your personalized communication on the things that actually require a human touch, like creative direction or, true emotional connection.
And let's be real, modern users overwhelmingly prefer to self-serve logistical information anyway.
Oh, 100%. Nobody wants to wait for an email.
Right. They don't want to wait 24 hours for you to reply to an email just to find out your starting price. They want instant access in the exact moment they're looking for it.
Especially on mobile.
Yes. The source actually mentions that PhotoBiz facilitates this through their website builder by using modular block designs.
Yeah, the FAQ blocks.
Right. So you can take common questions about pricing, process details, session prep, policies, and just organize them really cleanly.
Which touches on the broader concept of usability and cognitive ease.
Cognitive ease. I like that.
Yeah, information just must be structured into scannable pieces. If a user lands on a site and sees a massive, intimidating wall of text explaining the booking process,
their eyes will just glaze over.
Immediately. Especially, like we said, on mobile devices where reading long paragraphs is awful.
Definitely.
But utilizing features like accordion-style layouts, where you click to expand an answer, that allows the visitor to scan a list of questions and only interact with the ones relevant to their specific anxiety.
It totally respects the user's time. Like, they might only care about your turnaround time for digital files.
Right. They don't care about anything else at that moment.
So they don't need to read a 3-paragraph essay about your beautiful philosophy on natural light just to find that single piece of data.
Exactly. It puts the user in control of the information hierarchy.
Right.
They can dig deep if they want to read everything, or they can skim and get exactly what they need in 30 seconds. This vastly improves the overall experience of just navigating the site.
Okay, so If structuring text via concise questions and answers is brilliant for human psychology and usability, which we agree it is, we now need to look at how the machines view it.
Right, the SEO side.
Because the narrative here takes a very sharp pivot from human readability to machine readability. And here's where it gets really interesting.
It's a huge shift.
There has been a massive fundamental shift in SEO strategy recently, right?
Yes. And to understand the magnitude of this shift, we kind of have to look at the old playbook first.
Okay, walk us through the history.
So historically, answering specific questions was an absolute SEO goldmine because it mapped perfectly to user search intent.
Right, people literally type questions into Google.
Exactly. So web developers used what was called FAQ schema, basically back-end code tags to explicitly tell search engines, hey, this text is a frequently asked question.
And Google loved that, didn't they?
Oh, for years, Google rewarded this markup heavily.
They gave out those massive rich results.
Yes, the rich snippets.
Like you would search for something like, how long does it take to get wedding photos back? And the search results page would feature these large, visually distinct drop-down boxes.
Right at the very top of the page.
Pulling answers directly from a website's FAQ, I mean, it took up a ton of visual real estate. It was a massive flex for whoever won that spot.
It was. But that system created a really perverse incentive.
Because marketers ruin everything.
Basically, yeah. Marketers realized they could game the system, so they started slapping bloated, completely irrelevant FAQs onto every single page of a website.
Oh, just wrapping them in schema code to trick the bots.
Exactly. Simply to manipulate the search engine and steal that visual real estate.
Yeah.
And it really degraded the quality of the search results overall.
So Google pulled the plug.
They did.
The source cites a really interesting report from Search Engine Land detailing this major update.
Right.
As of May 7, 2026, Google entirely stopped supporting these FAQ-rich results. They just killed them.
Gone.
They even began phasing out the Search Console structured data reporting for them entirely. So the era of adding FAQs everywhere just to get a flashy visual reward is officially dead.
The visual reward is dead, yes. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, the structural value of the question and answer format is arguably more important than ever.
Wait, really? If Google killed the visual reward, why should we even bother with the strict question and answer format at all?
Because we are moving from an era of syntactic search to semantic search.
Syntactic to semantic. Okay, break that down for us.
Well, syntactic search was where search engines just matched keywords and read those back-end code tags we talked about. But semantic search is driven heavily by AI. It's about meaning.
I really want to unpack that transition because I feel like it's the absolute crux of modern web strategy.
It really is.
So think of the old schema-driven SEO, like a librarian who only knows how to categorize a book by reading its Dewey Decimal Code on the spine.
Right.
If you slap the right sticker on the spine, the librarian puts it in the right section, even if the book itself is complete gibberish inside. That was FAQ schema.
That's a perfect analogy.
But the modern AI-driven search engine is like a librarian who actually sits down, reads the entire book, understands the nuance, the context, and the actual meaning of the text.
Yes. AI systems do not need a piece of developer code to tell them a sentence is a question.
Because they could just read it.
Exactly. They understand natural language natively, but they desperately need clear, structured, accurate answers to parse the context of a website's overall expertise.
So structure still matters to the AI.
Very much so. The question and answer format is still the purest way to map to user intent.
User intent. That is the absolute core of the game here.
It is everything. When someone types a query into a search bar, they're trying to accomplish a specific goal. If your website clearly, accurately, and naturally answers the questions associated with that goal, the AI models will surface your content.
Because you're actually being helpful.
Exactly. The PhotoBiz guide on blogging for SEO emphasizes this heavily. You have to write for humans first.
Right. The rules of engagement have just completely inverted.
They have. You cannot treat an FAQ as a vessel for keyword stuffing anymore.
Oh, like trying to force the phrase best luxury newborn photographer into an answer about your cancellation policy.
Yes. The AI parsing the text will recognize the unnatural syntax instantly. And more importantly, the human trying to actually read your cancellation policy will find it entirely off-putting.
It degrades trust instantly.
Yeah.
It just makes the business look desperate.
Exactly. The goal now is to provide clear, unadulterated expertise.
When your answers are genuinely helpful, you support the anxious human visitor, you support the traditional search algorithms, and you support the new AI-driven search experiences, all simultaneously.
It's a win-win-win. But it forces business owners to become better communicators. You can no longer rely on technical tricks to rank.
Right.
Your competitive advantage is now the clarity and depth of your actual knowledge.
Okay, so if clarity and contextual relevance are the new mandates, let's look at the practical application of this.
Sure.
Where exactly do we deploy these answers on a website, and how do we write them effectively?
Well, the source is adamant about avoiding one specific, very common trap.
Which is?
Do not create one giant, overwhelming FAQ page that tries to answer everything about your entire business all at once.
Oh man, I see those all the time.
Right. A single centralized FAQ page is a legacy design concept. It basically functions as a data dump.
Yeah.
I mean, if a user is on your pricing page, they shouldn't have to navigate away to a separate massive FAQ page and then scroll through questions about what to wear.
Just to find out if your retainer fee is refundable.
Exactly. The modern strategy is contextual placement. You map the answers directly to the user's emotional state at that specific moment in their journey on your site.
Okay, I love that. Let's break down those emotional states based on the pages they're on.
Let's do it.
First, pricing pages. When a user is looking at packages, they are evaluating risk, right? The friction here is entirely financial.
Yes. So the FAQs placed on this page need to specifically target financial anxiety.
So what kind of questions should go here?
You address the deposit requirements. You answer whether you offer structured payment plans, how travel fees or taxes are calculated,
Well, that's a big one.
and you clarify the exact scope of what is included in the base price versus what requires a paid add-on. You keep the user on the pricing page by resolving their financial concerns right there.
Makes total sense. Okay, next up, contact pages.
Right.
A user on a contact page has already decided they like your work, but now they have communication anxiety.
Yes. They are hovering over that submit button wondering, if I fill out this form, will I hear back today or in 3 weeks?
Right. So the FAQs here are just about managing expectations.
Exactly. You outline your typical response times, you explain how your consultation calls work, and most importantly, you outline specifically what information the client needs to include in their initial message to help you serve them faster.
Give them instructions. Okay, then we have service pages.
Right.
This is where a user is evaluating your competence for their specific need. So the rule here is hyperspecificity.
Yes. If they're on a page dedicated to, say, corporate headshots, the contextual FAQs should only address things relevant to that, like wardrobe changes, background options, and commercial licensing.
Mixing context here is a quick way to lose a lead, isn't it?
Very quick. A corporate director looking for a professional headshot does not want to read an FAQ about your policy on bringing pets to a newborn session.
No, they definitely don't.
It signals that you are not a specialist in the thing they actually need.
Good point. Okay, the final placement suggestion from the article is the booking page. Catching the user right at the point of commitment.
Right, which is often where buyer's remorse or last-minute panic sets in.
Sure. So what goes here?
It is the ideal place to explain the post-booking reality.
Like what happens next?
Exactly. What happens immediately after the credit card is processed? What is the strict cancellation policy? How does emergency rescheduling work?
Answering these tough logistical questions at the exact moment of booking, it just solidifies the trust we discussed earlier.
Right. It proves you have a professional, established system in place.
Okay, let's pivot to the anatomy of the perfect answer itself. Because knowing where to put them is really only half the battle.
True.
You have to write them in a way that actually provides value. The source outlines that an answer must be specific, honest, and easy to read. But I want to zero in on the honesty aspect, specifically regarding pricing.
Okay, let's get into it.
Because it exposes a major psychological barrier for a lot of business owners. The article gives an example of a weak FAQ answer. Pricing depends on the session. Contact us for details.
Oh, that is one of the most frustrating things a consumer can encounter on a website.
It really is. They actively sought out the answer, they clicked the question, and were essentially told, I have the information, but I'm forcing you to jump through a hoop to get it.
It is a totally defensive maneuver.
Right. Business owners hide behind that vague answer because they are terrified of sticker shock.
Yep. They think, if I list my starting price of $3,000, I'll scare people away. I need to get them on the phone first so I can sell them on my true value.
They are using ambiguity as a shield. But that ambiguity is actively destroying their conversion rate, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It assumes the client is willing to do the extra work of reaching out, which we already established they are often not.
No, they'll just bounce.
Yeah.
So what does this all mean for the business owner who is afraid of scaring people away with a starting price?
Well, compare that defensive maneuver to the strong answer provided in the source, which is, portrait sessions start at $300 and include a planning consultation, session time, and a private online gallery. Final pricing depends on the type of session and any products you choose to add.
Wow. That is a masterclass in establishing a pricing anchor without backing yourself into a corner.
Exactly. It respects the client's time. It gives them a baseline number so they can instantly self-qualify.
Right. If their budget is only $50, they know immediately you aren't the right fit.
Which saves both of you a pointless, frustrating email exchange.
True.
It also clearly justifies that baseline cost by listing the inherent value right there, the consultation, the time, the gallery.
And finally, it provides the logical reason why the final price might fluctuate.
Exactly. It leaves the door wide open for a nuanced sales conversation, but it gives the client the necessary navigational direction first.
Okay, so for photographers or creative professionals who are, struggling to figure out what their clients are actually worried about, the source provides an excellent starting point.
It has a really good list of ideas.
Yeah, things like, do you help with posing? Can I purchase digital files versus prints? What happens if it rains? Do you photograph extended families?
And, to a professional who shoots weddings or portraits every single weekend, those questions seem incredibly mundane.
Totally. You might assume the answers are obvious.
But they are not obvious to the client who is stepping in front of a professional camera for the very first time in their life.
That is such a good point. What feels like a routine logistics question to you is a source of genuine anxiety for them.
Providing clear, patient answers to those seemingly basic questions elevates the perceived professionalism of the entire brand.
Okay, we've covered placement. We've covered how to write them. What's left?
The final and perhaps most easily overlooked aspect of this entire strategy is maintenance.
Maintenance. Okay, yeah.
A website's FAQ ecosystem is not a static document. You don't just set it and forget it.
Right. It has to evolve.
It has to evolve dynamically alongside the business operations. If your starting prices increase, the FAQs must reflect it. If your editing turnaround times slow down significantly during the busy holiday season, you have to update the website to manage those new expectations.
Or I imagine if a brand new question suddenly starts showing up in your inbox 3 times a week.
Yes.
Like maybe people start asking if you shoot drone footage out of nowhere. That is your immediate cue to update the site.
Exactly. It requires a paradigm shift. You have to view your website not as a digital brochure, but as an active living tool.
Right.
You have to regularly review it from the vantage point of a stressed, uncertain client. Are the answers easy to find? Are they written in plain, jargon-free language? Do they genuinely make the act of booking feel less daunting?
And the article mentions platforms like PhotoBiz even offer a support hub specifically to help business owners manage and update these sections seamlessly, right?
Yeah, which is great because it means you can do it without dealing with back-end code, totally removing the technical friction of maintenance.
Well, this has been incredibly insightful. Let's just summarize real quick. What does this all mean for the business owner staring at their website right now?
It means recognizing that a truly helpful website does a lot more than just look pretty.
Right. It does the heavy lifting of proactive hospitality.
Strategically written and contextually placed answers reduce client confusion. They save you countless hours of repetitive admin work.
And they map perfectly to the new semantic AI-driven realities of search engine optimization.
And most importantly, they prove to your clients that you understand their needs before they even have to voice them.
It really transforms your online presence from a passive gallery into an active guide.
It does. Which leaves us with a critical question, really. This raises an important question for anyone looking to refine their digital strategy today.
All right, lay it on us.
If your website is your digital storefront, standing in for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, what is the one burning, high-anxiety question your ideal client is desperately hoping you answer right now, and why are you making them wait to find out?
The Focus Shift podcast is presented by PhotoBiz, the best website solution for photographers. Whether you're launching your site or scaling your online business, PhotoBiz has your back. To get started for free, visit photobiz.com today.